Namaskara. Welcome to another episode of Twinkle at Twilight. Our today's guest is Dr. P. Sriram, Chairman, Bangalore Kidney Foundation. After BSc from Mysore University, completed metallurgical engineering from BHU, did a master degree in mechanical engineering from IISc Bengaluru and a PhD from IIT Madras. Has about 54 years professional experience in manufacturing and R&D. He is on the boards of few companies in India and USA. A member of BIS Section 28, member of R&D division of AFS USA till 2015. Distinguished Professor AICTE INAE for 2015-17 and member Board of Studies in Universities and Engineering Colleges. Presented and published over 100 technical and management papers in India and abroad. Founded Bangalore Kidney Foundation with other well-wishers in 1979. I came to know about Dr. Sriram from a friend of mine. Dr. Sriram heads Bangalore Kidney Foundation. As it is a medical foundation, I naturally assumed he was probably a nephrologist or some other medical professional. When talking to him, I found out he was called a doctor not because he was a medical professional, but because he has a PhD in mechanical engineering. Very confusing title indeed. This, however, created a question in my mind. How did he even end up starting Bangalore Kidney Foundation and the motivation behind it? This is what he had to say.
In 1977, a brilliant scientist at the Institute of Science went into a semi-coma, and for 2 days he was taken to various hospitals in Bangalore, and finally we moved him to CMC Vellore, where within maybe 2-3 hours they identified it as or diagnosed it as kidney failure. So he was dialyzed a couple of times. They came back to Bangalore, and then he was shifted to Jeslo, Bombay for dialysis. A few well-wishers of this gentleman, his name was Dr. Bapat, we joined together and formed the Bangalore Kidney Foundation in 1979. Air freighted the first dialysis machine in Karnataka and set it up in his own house. And we had a doctor who was dialyzing his wife, so he was familiar with dialysis. So he joined us to dialyze Dr. Bapat. Bapat came back from Jeslo, and dialysis was going on in Bangalore. That's the first home dialysis center in Karnataka, the first dialysis machine in Karnataka. After a while, unfortunately, both the doctor and subsequently Dr. Bapat passed away. So we also in the meanwhile got about 4 machines as a donation from Odense General Hospital in Denmark. So with these 5 machines, we approached Sevakshetra Hospital for space. And luckily, there was a new building coming up and there was one hall. So the first public dialysis center started somewhere around 1981 or so. And with that, on those days, we were charging about 100 rupees to those who could afford per dialysis. And those who could not afford, we met donors for their dialysis. And later on, Bangalore Kidney Foundation started growing. We wanted a nephrologist. We spoke to Dr. M.K. Mani in Jeslo Hospital, and he asked us to contact Dr. Kishore Tarwalkar. He was in KM Hospital in Mumbai. Again, fortunately for us, he agreed to come to Bangalore, and so Karnataka had its first nephrologist. He set up home practice, and he joined before Dr. Bapat passed away, so he dialyzed him for a while. And he was with us in Sevakshetra Hospital. At that time, we decided why not set up a nephrology center. And in Padmanabhanagar, a CS site granted by the government of Karnataka, we set up the first nephrology center. Um, the first transplants in Karnataka were done by us in different hospitals which had twin OTs, by getting transplant surgeons and nephrologists from Mumbai to come here, come on a weekend, do the transplant, go back on a Monday morning.
Okay.
So this went on for a few transplants. And once the nephrology center was set up, the transplant started in the nephrology center itself. We had our own transplant team, and BKF started growing for a period of time. One of the benefits we had was that we were the first center. So people started referring patients to us from all over Karnataka and near about places outside Karnataka.
That was how the idea of BKF was conceived. The model it ran by was that the entire capital cost came from the donor and all the money went to the patients. This made the cost of dialysis much cheaper and affordable to everybody. The cost of a dialysis back in 2011 was around rupees 750. This was the cost for those who could afford. For those who couldn't, it was subsidized down to rupees 200 to rupees 300. For those who couldn't afford that either, it was even free. Dialysis can be very taxing on the mind and the body of a person. This can either be directly through dialysis or indirectly through society. Let's now hear in his own voice on how he expanded the facility and then went on to help people tackle their problems.
Somewhere around 2016, we found the hospital was short of space. So we spoke to, again, Sringeri Mutt and said, if you could land, we'll build and that's how this building came up.
Okay.
The entire building was built by, with a little contribution from BKF, was built by the Mutt.
Okay.
And most of the equipment came through donors for BKF.
Okay.
And Mutt also contributed few machines.
Okay.
And in 2019, this center was started. This is an 85 machine center.
Okay.
And today we are doing about 4,000 dialysis a month.
Okay.
And out of the 4,000, about 45% are free dialysis. Another 30% subsidized dialysis between 200, 300, 400 rupees. And we have a third floor where we have insurance patients. So about 25% of our patients are insurance patients. And they pay whatever is the insurance rate, which helps us to subsidize the other three floors. The first three floors are subsidized patients.
Understood.
So that helps to do that a bit. But the main objective of every patient has to undergo regular dialysis has been met through having a number of donors who understand this concept and have come forward to assist the dialysis of patients. So today we don't turn back any patient. Whoever the reception reports say he doesn't have money, then we tell him to do the dialysis first. So that's the major objective of the institution.
Yes.
Nobody should go back without a dialysis.
Without dialysis.
We also have absolutely no class distinction, creed distinction, nothing. We have community. Anybody who walks in requires dialysis,
Yes.
we just go ahead and do it for them. Lately, we have started transplants, assisting transplants, and hopefully in the next few months, by end of this year,
Okay.
Rangadhara Memorial will start transplants.
Okay.
All facilities have been set up, and the approvals have to come from the government, and then that will start.
Okay.
Regular dialysis we found over a period of time didn't get the well-being we expected. So then we found that most of the patients had malnutrition. They didn't have the money to undergo lab tests and proteins. They were not able to undergo proteins. And one of the most weak areas for them was that they were not taking erythropoietin injections, because any dialysis patient has low HP, because that part of the need, which is that the original kidney used to do, cannot be done by the dialyzer. So they are given supplement injections. So we started what is known as the total care dialysis for about 72 patients, out of which 60 were women patients. In this total care, we meet all these requirements.
Okay. Including the injection.
Everything we do. With the result, we found that over a period of about a year, 27% of our patients went back to work.
Okay.
76% of the patients came here without caregivers. So that's a big cost. Most of the patients in the profile of patients we have are low income group, BPL, daily wage earners. So if they come with one more caregiver, he also loses a day's wage.
Yes.
So now we find 76% of the patients come without a caregiver.
Oh.
Less than 3% is the hospitalization and sickness.
Okay.
So we found there was the metrics showed a lot of positiveness in this project. Now we are looking at seeing that all those needy are covered by this project. So from 60 we have gone to 72, and we have another about 25-30 patients who are needy.
Okay.
So maybe those patients also over a period of time we will cover, so that almost 150 patients are covered under TCD, and many of them have the ability to go back to work or be helpful domestically.
Okay.
Otherwise, they used to finish dialysis, go back home, lie down on a cot or on the floor, and do nothing.
Okay.
But now they're able to help. There are patients who go to school from here after dialysis, take the children home, cook for the family. And in 2016, we found that the number of women patients was very low. We had about 23 women patients, whereas globally, we find that women patients are more prone to CKD than men patients by about 2 to 4%.
I see.
In spite of that, we found the number of it. So again, we spoke to people and found out there were two reasons. One is the economic reason, the other the social reason.
Okay.
Economic reason being the lady of the house, the wife, generally sacrifices her life rather than spend money on herself, knowing full well that the resources of the family will not be available for the children and they. So she won't undergo dialysis, she will stay at home and perish on all it is. So the other thing is social, very unfortunate, but a reality in low income group families. Here, when the lady of the house is found that she has a CKD problem, the family generally rejects her. We have many women here who the family has asked them to leave the house, close the door against them, just like in cinema. Close the door against their face. Even the children, small children, ask them to take away and go. Then we started probing into this to find out why this happens. And one is they don't want to spend the money. B, this is an avenue for a second marriage and a second dowry. So we felt that this is a social, at low income group levels.
Yes.
And, so then we started a all women dialysis center where all the staff are women, doctors are women. And slowly we found that over a period of time, and also we brought in all women patients except insurance women patients are free.
Okay.
Now from 23, we have about 120 patients, women patients undergoing dialysis here. We are also very glad to note that most of them are doing well and they are able to look after children. And so at this stage, we found that the children, they were the first casualty of dialysis, CKD.
Okay.
So they used to drop out of school. If they were in private schools, they were shifted to government schools. So then we started looking at this aspect and started a program of education of dialysis patients' children. And now we have a large number of children going back to school, going back to good private schools with the fees, books, whatever is required, paid by donors of the institution of BKF.
Okay.
So we have maybe 12 to 14 children have gone back to school.
Okay.
And we are talking to MNCs and corporate to see almost all the children go to good schools. And we have a review system and we ensure they're doing well in school. And the next program we are looking at is how do we ensure the children are on par with the others? And we found that they being a first generation students, the parents are not able to help them much. So now we are looking at, do we have to provide tuition? So that's the next program we are looking at.
Okay.
Hopefully in the next 1 year or so, we are talking to people. And so this way, what we are looking at, it should be a total thing.
Yes.
Just doing dialysis and sending them home is not the end all of the sickness they have. Generally, they say it's not a disease, it's not a sickness, it's a treatment for a cause, dialysis. But all said and done, that so many other organs are in the body.
Yes.
So they find it very difficult when one organ, major organ in the body, is not functioning. So slowly they start deteriorating, get ascites, their liver starts functioning. So the very totalistic picture is we looked at, and we are trying to give a totalistic solution to it. That's where we are now. We have reached 85. We found that roughly 30% of our patients come from 50 kilometers to 150 kilometers distance.
Yes.
Some of them far away, Pondicherry, Bellary, and all that.
Okay.
So we started a project called Take Dialysis to the Patient. In the last 2 years, we have started 17 rural centers. And we have so far done in rural centers about 15,000 dialysis. But 170 to 180 patients have been prevented from coming to urban areas for dialysis.
Okay.
And we want to extend this to about maybe another 25 centers all over Karnataka. Word has moved on, and so we have started the first one in Kavali in Andhra Pradesh. And now we have got requests from Ichal Karanji, Upari, and all near Kolhapur and Maharashtra. So maybe we'll start looking at that. And we want to prevent, because it's a very, very big expense. Coming here and going costs about 400 to 500 rupees.
Yes.
Then from whatever is the either Majestic or City Market somewhere, they come by auto.
Yes.
So in addition to the dialysis cost, they have another 600 to 1,000 rupees additional dialysis cost every alternate day.
BKF as an organization has done a lot. For BKF to do all this, it needs to have a lot of people actively working towards it. Let's now hear what the main technician, who has been one of the driving forces in this fight, Avinash Ji, has to say.
ಫ್ರಮ್ 17 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ನಾನೇ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೂಪರ್ವೈಸರ್ ಆಗಿ. ನನ್ನ ಅಂಡರಲ್ಲಿ 40 ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸಾರಿ 34 ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಷಿಯನ್ ಒಂದು 10 ಪೀಪಲ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಂದು 6 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ 3 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಷಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಮಿಕ್ಕದವರು.
ಓಕೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತಾವು ಏನೇನು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ವಹಿಸಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ? ನಿಮ್ಮ ವರ್ಕ್ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಏನು?
ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ A to Z ಸರ್. ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಇಂಥ ಕೆಲಸ ಏನೇ ಅಡ್ವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಐ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೆಫ್ಯೂಸ್. A to Z ಎಲ್ಲ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಫ್ರಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಫಿಶುಲಾ ಇಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂ ಫಿಶುಲಾ ಯಾವ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಗೆ ಮೋಟಿವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಮೆಷಿನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊತೀನಿ, ಕನ್ಸೂಮಬಲ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊತೀನಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟಾಫ್ಗೆ ಮೋಟಿವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಅದೇ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸ್ಟಾಫ್ ಇದ್ರೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಆಗೋದು. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಮೋಟಿವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಏನೇ ತಪ್ಪಿದ್ರೂ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವ್ರ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ರೋಟ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಆಯಮ್ಮ ವಾರ್ಡ್ ಬೈಸ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಏನೇನು ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಡಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಥರದ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ
ಸರ್? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಪ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಚಿಕ್ಕಮಂಗ್ಳೂರು ಕಡೂರಿಂದನೂ 17 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಂಡುಚೇರಿಯಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ತುಂಬಾ ಪಾಪ ಫುಲ್ ಪುವರ್ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ. ಬಟ್ BKF ತುಂಬಾ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಫುಡ್ ರೇಷನ್ನೇ ಆಗಲಿ, ಮತ್ತು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಫ್ರೀ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ಸು, ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್, ಎರಿಥ್ರೋಪಾಯ್ಟಿನು ಮತ್ತು ಐರನ್ ಸಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ರಿ, ಮತ್ತು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ BKF ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ತುಂಬ ಲಕ್ಕಿ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಫ್ರೀ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಇದೆ. ತುಂಬ BPL ಕಾರ್ಡ್, ತುಂಬ ಪುವರ್ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಫ್ರೀ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ವಿತ್ ರೇಷನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಎರಿಥ್ರೋಪಾಯ್ಟಿನ್ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫ್ರೀ ಇದೆ ಸರ್.
For a patient, dialysis is not a procedure that they need to undergo once. It needs to be repeated multiple times a week to live a healthy life. BKF is doing a mammoth of a humanitarian work for the poor and needy. This wouldn't have been possible without the donors, the volunteers, and Dr. Sriram and his team of medical professionals who actively and selflessly work towards it. Bangalore Kidney Foundation is a beacon of hope for many. It will continue to be so. We hope that this inspires many more to come. I am Shodhan Kumar, and thank you for listening to this episode of Twinkle at Twilight, and have a nice day.